Hello, good morning, everybody. It is Tuesday. Tim and Tim are back. Tim, how the hell was Costa Rica? You've been gone for a couple of weeks, man. Tell me about how amazing that was.
It was great. Costa Rica always is, folks. Went to a different part this time. Went to the northern part of Costa Rica instead of the south. But always like it there, man. Can't complain one bit.
Yeah, it's on my bucket list. I haven't been there yet, but I hope to soon. Hey, all right, everybody. We have a friend of ours. His name is Christian Jones. He lives in Columbia, South Carolina, and he does hotel conversions. So he converts hotels to apartment units. And he has also, I think just yesterday, closed on your first triple net retail flex space center. Congratulations on that. Dude, give everybody a little background about who you are, where you come from, your experience. Like, let everybody know who you are.
Yeah, so my name is Christian Jones, obviously. And I'm from California, Sacramento, California. And before a year ago, never really done any real estate. Bought a few houses, and that's about the gist of it. I owned a body shop for years and ran and operated that. And kind of got tired of it, and it was time to do something different, something with a future to it, not just longer work weeks. And just got tired of having a really good job, essentially.
Right, a high paying job, which is very hard for a lot of people to escape.
For sure.
So tell us about that. So you're from California, you live in Columbia, South Carolina now. How did you get there?
Yeah, just moved. Looked all over, done a lot of research, and that's where I picked. That's where I thought in the next 5 to 10 years was going to have the most significant growth economically. And it was just so behind the times when I, went around visiting places, and, it wasn't like Florida or Texas or Arizona where this kind of wave had already hit. It was kind of, that wave was starting, and, hadn't started seeing the white caps yet. And now it's starting to see it. Now it's starting to cusp and
seeing a little competitive.
Yeah. I like the I just moved. I mean that's sometimes people overcomplicate things, right? It's like, no, I just moved.
I love when people up north complain about the snow and the cold, and we're like, you can move.
It's really easy. It's a lot easier than you think.
Yeah, I do. It's don't underplay that. It's difficult to pack up your life and move. But I believe you have a wife, any kids?
Yep.
Yeah, a couple
been
kids.
Married for 7 years and 2 kids.
Yeah, man, that's hard to uproot them. Don't downplay that.
It was really easy. It was really easy.
Well,
I said kids
now. They're young, so it was like easy.
Get in the car. Where are we going? Doesn't matter to you.
Yeah. He still asks, is this going to be our house are we going to live here for a long time? Because we stayed in Airbnbs for a month,
Oh, really?
So
yeah,
nice. 10 or 15 Airbnbs.
But man, Christian, you kind of nailed it, man. Columbia, you're spot on, man. It's one of those spots in South Carolina that's kind of been behind the hot spots like Greenville and Charleston and stuff like that. So like what are you I shouldn't tell anybody. Sorry, Christian. So your triple net is, your triple net is that in Columbia as well?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
So talk to us about that. How'd you find the deal? How'd you structure it? What's your business plan for it? How'd you get turned on to triple net?
Going to your mastermind was huge. Really opened it up. I thought multifamily was the only thing to do, and that was the only space you could be in other than, residential. I thought, to be honest, triple net was like kind of BS and like waste of time, waste of efforts.
Right.
No returns. Cause you're like single tenant triple net stuff. That's like, when you're 70 years old and you just have so much money, you need to put it somewhere. That's what you do.
Dude, that is absolutely the misconception. But you're not wrong. The people that you're buying stuff from are those guys, right? Those are those guys, right? But
very true.
It is the misconception and maybe the misinformation that, you have to have a lot of money to be in the triple net world. to have a retail strip center or a warehouse or something like that. And that's it. Like you're not going to be able to buy anything unless you already have money. So how did you find this first deal and how did you structure it? And did you get investors? Like, what did you do?
I just do my own cold calling and got a hold of the owners. It's 2 separate properties, so 2 different owners, and got them both to decide to sell it. Prices were significantly different. One was a lot nicer. One was it's pretty terrible, but it's it was cheap enough that it made sense. The rehab budget, it all made sense, and the area, it's like maybe a mile out of downtown Columbia. And it's on North Main Street. So that's where a lot of the development's moving. They just broke ground on a 60-unit multifamily complex, like a block away. There's a $34 million brewery that is opening up in the next month or two.
Sounds like
again, another block in the other direction. Yeah. So it was kind of, it was a really good place. There's been a bunch of deals that come up down off of like 2 Notch, stuff like that. But trying to find in those, opportunity zones and find owners. You deal with a lot of, the bigger strip centers and stuff that you find. You'll deal with, kind of conglomerates, and they're smart,
Yeah.
They know what they got, and they're not letting it go for anything. So, you get a hold of an owner and with some deferred maintenance that they know money has to be put back into it, and that's how you make a deal.
Yeah. So what's your criteria then? Like, how are these conversations going with the sellers, and what's your criteria that you're looking for?
I'm only looking for multi-tenant, triple net. I'm not looking for any single tenant. Preferably 3 or more. Mm-hmm. 2 is kind of cutting it, but and as far as owners, I'm really looking for, like I was saying, getting a hold of actual owner that's owned it for 10 to 40 years. That's kind of the range that you'll see, and trying to just get to them and have just a conversation about the property, what their plan is for it, and what do they want.
Relationships.
You'd be surprised. Sometimes they shoot you a number and you're like, deal.
I would have paid you double.
Yeah.
You know what they say? Those who say the number first loses.
Yeah.
For sure.
So hey, Christian, I feel like the first time you and I kind of talked, you were looking a little bit more like in the traditional residential space, like maybe even multifamily, right? Mm-hmm. So how'd you kind of make this shift into triple net?
Well, at your guys' mastermind, talking to people and yeah.
Plug.
Yeah. It was huge, man. Cause you get around people doing a little bit of everything, some residential, some commercial, a lot of multifamily. And it was like kind of seeing, it was an opportunity to sit down and actually talk versus been to other, events, and you don't really get down, like sit down and talk with kind of movers. It's a lot of people that everybody's dreaming, and it's nice to be able to talk to people that in a smaller room they're doing it, and you can kind of pick their brain and see what's going on.
It was funny. Your wife actually saw the post for our Porsche race car and real estate event, and your wife called me and she was like, "You got to talk to my husband." I was like, "Okay, I don't know who your husband is." And then we talked, and hell, we had like a 15 or a 30-minute phone call scheduled. Dude, we talked for like an hour or two, like easily, right off the bat. It was like, "Oh, this dude's he's the real deal." And you signed up for the event, and ever since then, man, you've been making moves, right? It's the power of the network. It's the power of being associated with people in proximity to them, right? Because as you started to get these deals, not only did it expand your mindset from apartments and single family, and don't get me wrong, like Tim and I, our bread and butter is apartments. We know that, but we also do some triple net stuff in Columbia, which you've been to that property before, and we like it too, right? Because it's fun. They're fun little projects for us to kind of do, but we know where our bread and butter is, right? But that is the power of association allowed you to be able to take this opportunity that you found and start connecting with people at the event that were like, "Hey, hey, remember we met at this thing? I have an opportunity. I know that you're looking for this because that's what you said at the event. Let's work together." And now because you've already had a personal relationship of being connected with each other at an event, and you're able to sit down, had a couple meals together. You know, we drove the race cars on the track, which is, you know, a great experience. So it's like, you know, it's memorable, right? And it bridges that gap of like this trust that happens almost immediately because you're in the same room. And I just came back from a mastermind. You know, Seth Teagle, he put one on, another small room mastermind. It was up in Ohio for 2.5 days. And I came out of there with amazing connections, an amazing mindset. And like Tim and I talked, because he came back yesterday, him and I talked for like 2 hours on the phone about like everything that I learned. And it really made us think and challenge ourselves about some of the assumptions we were making in our business and how are we going to move forward with some stuff. And, you know, it's just like, wow, that really like saved us a whole lot of time, stress and hassle and, you know, aggravation and shit, a whole lot of money, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Hey, Christian, I got another. So you came out of the mastermind with this idea for triple net. Now, I think you got a partner on this thing in Columbia, right?
Yep.
Did you know him before the mastermind?
No.
Oh, all right.
Oddly enough,
that wasn't a softball. I genuinely did not know the answer to that one.
No, never met him before.
Oh man,
and
awesome.
I mean, honestly, it's, you know, honor to partner with him. It's Chris. He's man.
He's like, the real deal.
You couldn't have picked a better guy.
Yeah.
And he just, I mean, on that end, you know, like with these like heavy lift kind of deals, it's like
he's your guy.
Oh man, I don't know if could have pulled it off. You know, the budget like started getting crazy. Like, you know, you start getting towards closing and you're finalizing all of your, you know, your numbers. And it's like, whoa, okay, we're like, 50, 75 grand off. Like it was, you know, it got significant and he's just a master at that. Like he, by far.
Man, it's like you got a partner, but you also got kind of like a mentor going on at the same time. Like,
I think it's more the other way.
Full disclosure,
mentor all the way through.
Yeah, full disclosure, guys. Like Tim and I have a deal with Chris, the same guy, and man, I'm learning as we're going through it. I'm learning so much from him. Just watching him do what he does, and it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. It's awesome to be like making money while you're also learning in the process.
And really, you
awesome
wouldn't have
combo.
better. He probably would have never picked up your phone, picked up the call because he knew who you were. Right? It's the only way that you guys got connected.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, awesome, man. So cool. So, you know, one of the I don't know who this is, just says Facebook user, but this person's asking if we can explain triple net and how it works, please. Because Christian, why don't you kind of explain a little bit about your mindset of what, like the deals that you're looking at and how the triple net works, and talk about your business plan. Because I think that's kind of going to answer the question a whole lot more than just what is triple net. Because we can answer that in like 3 sentences.
Yeah. I mean, well, so I'll kind of start with like my goal. I started a property management company initially moving here, and I thought that's what I wanted to do. I thought I was going to manage apartments and and then you start doing it with single family, and it was like a nightmare. So really my goal was, with seeing how triple net works, I wanted to own real estate and manage it, but not really manage it. You know, I wanted to lease it up and do the fun part, and then, you know, kind of let it do its thing until it's time to lease it up again. And so that's where I, you know, kind of start falling in love with triple net. Is you don't get calls for anything,
right?
Your tenant pays for everything, taxes, you know, insurance, maintenance on the property. They cover everything. Give them a little bit better rate, but it's pretty trouble free, you know,
for the most part. Yeah. So Nate, you got to allow StreamYard to have access to your Facebook so it can post your like name and stuff like that. But the way that triple net works is that you have, you know, a square foot, whatever X size square foot building, and it could be a single tenant, it could be multiple tenants, et cetera, and so forth. And you have triple net, single net, double net, and absolute net leases. Policies. I've been thinking about insurance too much. Leases. And what the triple net means is it stands for the rent is net of insurance, taxes, and common area maintenance, or CAM. And what that typically means is, like, if you have 3 tenants and all of them are on triple net leases, at the end of the year, when you get your insurance and your tax bill, you bill it back to each one of the tenants individually based on the amount of square footage that they occupy. If you have to maintain the exterior of the building as the owner, like, cleaning and lawn care and et cetera and so forth, anything like that, you look at it at the end of the year, and you do what's called a CAM reconciliation. And you look back and you say, okay, well, I paid $10,000 in common area maintenance, and I'm going to charge, $3,500 to each one of these tenants, and my net cost is zero. So hypothetically, the way that a perfect triple net or deal works is that your income, like your monthly base rent, is your NOI, right? So if your monthly base income is $5,000, right, because you're in a, what's that, like a 3,000 square foot building, and you're doing an NOI of $60,000 a year. Well, if you're paying $40,000 in expenses, if you weren't billing that back to the tenant in other income or CAM charges, your NOI would then be $20,000, right? So in order to get back to it, you're going to see your $60,000 of income plus $40,000 of CAM or billed CAM taxes and insurance, and then you'll see $40,000 of expenses. So you see how those two offset net to zero, and then your NOI is basically your base income. So it makes evaluating and underwriting triple net deals really, really, really simple. I spent the weekend with Ash Patel as well, and he was showing us how he does his math on a calculator on his phone. He doesn't use any kind of underwriting spreadsheets or anything like that. But that's basically in a nutshell how triple net works.
Super simple.
So follow-up question. How would you Tim, I'll let you take this. You're much better at the underwriting stuff than me.
Yeah, I'm numbers nerds. How would you know based on the original underwriting that the deal is in the triple net space? So one, it depends on the property type. You're not getting apartment complexes that are triple net. You're getting retail, flex, warehouse, industrial, heavy and light industrial, et cetera, and so forth. You'll know if it's triple net or not. It'll be advertised as triple net. If you're not finding the deal directly, like you're going to be targeting triple net properties that are warehouses and retail strip centers and stuff like that. But in the underwriting space, it's actually not in the underwriting that you find if it's triple net or not, because one of the problems that Christian kind of touched on is that a lot of owners are very, very, very old. They don't really know what they're not really in tune with the property anymore. They may or may not care about making sure that the CAM is billed back properly because they're doing it themselves. So you could find opportunity to increase the value of the building by just billing CAM properly. But the number one thing in a triple net deal is the lease itself. So if you have a 3-tenant building, you're going to have 3 leases. You have to read those cover to cover, understand exactly how the triple net is structured, or it might not be structured at all. And that could be your value add is by converting the building over to a triple net basis or something like that.
Yeah. So this North Main deal, we have to split all the meters and water meters and gas meters. So everyone gets billed separately,
They're responsible for their own utilities if you're doing that.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. To be able to split everything up and make it, because right now they have it all the walls are opened up. So building everything back and converting it back to each individual.
There he is.
He heard his name being spoken about.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Yeah. So, all right. So you're in triple net space. You just closed on that deal. What's in the pipeline for you? Like, what's the future look like for Christian?
I'm doing another one over off of Hardin Street. It's 12,000 square foot. Just got that under contract 2 days ago.
Look at you.
Looking for a warehouse, like 20,000 square foot warehouse. I have a gym that is looking for a new location in the next 6 months. So looking for a space for a tenant, makes it easy.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the key right there. You start with the tenant in mind and then go find the building and then you're done.
I love that.
We've already negotiated terms. I already know exactly, it makes it, so simple.
Oh, boy. Talk about the confidence level going into a deal like that, where you already know the negotiated rate, rent, what they're willing to pay. I mean, your exit plan from day one before you even buy the place.
Yeah.
That's safe. Easy. If I ever heard of it.
Yeah. It makes it easy to put out offers too, because I know exactly where I need to be. It makes it, it's super simple. I that's the goal moving forward, is to be able to do that on a lot more deals.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh,
Have a lot
absolutely.
more, instead of so many deals in the pipeline, just have tenants, way more tenants than deals in the pipeline. So
Absolutely.
every single one is figured out before even closing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Man.
that's the goal.
I love it. I don't know where you learned that from, but that is definitely the way.
Yeah. Honestly, that one kind of just happened. It's my gym. I go to the gym.
Oh,
And
really?
they were talking about moving, and like, who's helping you guys figure that out? And like, oh, nobody. I'm like, all
Yeah.
right, well,
I can
shoot.
be your guy.
Yeah. Yeah. Let
And
me
you
find
know what?
something.
Before you know it, like if you're going to be doing this for a couple of years, before you know it, people are going to be coming to, you're going to be known as the guy, right? If you're trying to open up a business and you need a place or a new place, you're going to be known as the guy. Like, hey, Christian, you tell him what you need. He'll go find a building and make it what you want it to and lease it out for you. And you're a
Yeah,
problem
man.
solver at the end of the
Yeah.
day. That's exactly what it is.
And you're in the spot, man. That
Yeah.
you-
And I love your
you're-
location.
Yeah, you're in a great spot. There's so much good product there.
Yeah.
I look forward to doing as many as possible.
Man.
Hey,
Don't worry. The law of the first deal is in full effect right now. You just did your first one, and now you got your second one under contract. Before you know it, you're going to have so many you don't know what to do with.
Yep. I look forward to it.
So Jeff, I'm sorry, somebody just pinged me name Jeff. So Christian, what's what kind of got you out of the property management piece? I know you kind of touched on it a minute ago, but you hear a lot of folks say that I want to take over property management. I don't want to do third party, whatever. And there's no right or wrong answer to that, folks. But like, kind of what got you away from that?
I had a job before. I had a really good job before.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
I just didn't want another one. I just didn't. I
That's
thought
fair.
I did. I thought
That's
it
a
would be
great
something
answer, man.
different.
Honestly, like, I mean, we all get into this for a lot of different reasons, but most of us don't get into this just to create another job for ourselves, right? Like, I got to be honest, I love that answer. You kind of hesitated on it, but I think it's great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just trying to think of how to say it, because it's not terrible. Even the business I had before wasn't bad. I didn't hate it. I loved doing it. It was a job. I worked a lot to, make the money, and wanted something eventually to sit back and be able to go to Costa Rica or Puerto Rico, and like go enjoy life a little bit.
Yeah.
Before this, I've never taken a vacation.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I've never been on vacation. Because I ran a business,
Yep. You were the
And
guy.
It wasn't a business. It was
It's so hard to walk away from that too. Like, walking away from being head honchos. I mean, there's a lot of ego involved in being the boss and being able to walk away from a job.
For sure. Even still, it's like, it's different. It's for sure. Yesterday was awesome closing on the property, but it was also pretty humbling too, just, yeah. I mean,
Dude, you have made leaps and bounds of progress since we met in November. Like, what's that, 6 months ago? Like, I remember when we first talked on the phone, I was like, dude, a year from now, you're going to be laughing at these questions or these concerns. Remember that? And then now we look at you, you're like, oh man, like I figured this out. I know what my problem was. I know how to solve problems for other people. And now I'm going out there and doing it.
Dude, that's the secret, right? Like guys, and this is going to sound kind of bad, but I'm gonna say it anyways. Like you see a lot of folks who go to these masterminds, they go to these events or whatever, and they walk out of there like pumped up, right? Pumped up. A couple of days later, Wayne's, you see them 6 months later and they haven't done anything. Dude, Christian, you walked out of there with an idea. You started working on it. You started actioning on it. You met a partner there, stuff like that. And you just stayed in touch. And it's like, I love the fact you just left that with an idea and then you just took consistent action on it, man. And here you are now, like got a deal, got another deal. Now you're working on another one. And now you got tenants before you got deals. I mean, that's amazing, dude.
Well,
Awesome.
Not only that, so like we're only talking about triple nuts. We haven't even touched on this hotel conversion stuff. I
forgot about
we haven't
that.
even got there yet. So yeah, I mean, you're killing it in triple net. I love watching you grow and absolutely doing amazing things. But talk about the hotel conversion stuff, because I think that was another light bulb moment for you at the mastermind event that we had.
Yeah. Because it's essentially multifamily, but it's such a big transition for the property. So yeah, the conversions are awesome. I mean the numbers make a lot of sense, even with prices kind of the way they are. And yeah, doing a couple here in Columbia. We're doing about 270 units right now.
Wow.
Set to close we'll be closing in the next 30 days on two properties.
So
Working
so
on
how'd
another
you
one in Birmingham. It's still in that negotiating phase where
how'd
some
you how'd you find
are
these?
different.
How'd you find them?
Calling around. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Just
you're
getting
doing a
hold
lot
the
of
owners.
your own like cold calling and sourcing.
Yeah. So now I'm like trying to create some systems to free up some more time.
Mhm.
There's just been so much time, that just
Yeah.
is hours and hours and hours of skip tracing and,
Ugh.
yeah.
Oh, that makes me cringe. I don't know. I bought some lists and stuff and I was like, I'm going to start doing that myself. I did it for like a week and I was like, this is awful.
Oh, it's not that fun, but
No.
I mean, I've probably called on 1,000 properties now, and you just do it. I mean, out of all of them, very few actually turn into deals.
Yeah, right.
But that's kind of
All
how
you
it
need
works.
is one to make it worth your while.
Well, man,
Exactly.
I love to hear that, man, because full disclosure, guys, I spent, and I have the exact number, but I spent over $28,000 last year starting to set up that whole thing. And like Vitaly here, I was like, this sucks. Like,
I remember when you told me about that, I was like, oh, you go have fun with that.
yeah, I was setting up teams. I had people hired, everything. And I was
No
like,
thanks.
man, nah.
Hard pass.
Yeah. But you gotta find that like middle ground where you provide that value,
Yeah.
and that's at least with triple net. That's the problem is nobody has consistent deal flow. I don't care if it's a broker, no one really does.
Nope.
And so solving that problem of like having consistent deals to keep throwing money at, I mean, that's where I found myself was like, okay, well, I don't have a ton of money, but I have time, like I have time, and I've kind of dialed the property management back significantly. I think I'm only managing like three properties at the moment, and just try to get myself out of that as quick as I could, just because you don't make any money. It's you were saying people want to do it to save their the money on like multifamily, and it's like it's ridiculous. Pay these people, man. They're amazing. Like what they do, it's like the most thankless job ever. Like,
but I think there's more to just having time, right? You had the grit and determination to work through the suck, right? Look at myself. I'm a perfect example of how I cold called for a week and I quit. That is the vast majority of people out there. And hey, I recognize that about myself. I know that was not what I was good at. It's not what I like to do. It's not where my value was. And somebody has that value. Somebody has that time, that the systems, the processes, the personnel to do that. And I will gladly pay for a finder's fee or what's it called? Assignment fee to somebody that finds a deal, because I understand the value of how much time and effort it goes into finding those deals. And then I don't have to, like, you go out and build relationships with sellers and, it might take you 6 months or a year to get a deal. I will gladly pay you $25,000, $35,000, whatever it costs to get that deal where I can still make my money on it. Right. And I don't have to spend my time building relationships with brokers and direct to sellers. I'm doing the work and I'm structuring the deals and access to the capital and all that kind of stuff that's necessary. So, it's really identifying that, hey, you have time. You know that this is where you can provide value because it's something that you may or may not absolutely hate, but it's something that is tolerable for you and that you can bring an opportunity to somebody else and benefit, and everybody can benefit from it.
Yeah. And man, you're throwing so many nuggets out there, Christian, like, because you hear people, I mean, quite frankly, people make excuses, right? Like, it's like, oh man, I don't have any money. I can't do real estate. It's like, well, you just said it. You're like, oh, I didn't have a ton of money, but I had time, right? I had time. Like, there's different ways, like Vitaly's talking about. You just so many different ways to bring the value. You got a skill you can offer, you got time, you got money, whatever. Like, there's so many different reasons.
Sure.
you're just like
Everyone can make excuses.
yeah, dude, you're like completely motivating me today. I love it.
Yeah. I mean, and really the proof's in the pudding. That like, I mean, before that mastermind in November, I'd never looked at a triple net or hotel deal at all. Looked at a ton of apartment complexes, but nothing,
Yeah.
Yeah, those were easy to do for over the last 2 years, right?
When I started looking, they were hard, man. The numbers were.
I don't think it's ever gonna not be hard.
What?
I mean, in 2015 and 2016, every single year, everyone's like, "Oh, it's difficult to buy deals." It's always difficult to buy deals. It's you're just not building the right relationships at the end.
Although it is a little more fun lately to laugh when somebody comes on and they're like, "Hey, I got a 4 cap for you," and you're just like,
"Ha!" That's what I say right in their face.
Oh yeah, okay,
yeah. Well, hey, Christian, man, this has been fun. I'm so glad that you joined us today, and kind of recapped your experience, and I'm thankful that we came across each other and that you came to the mastermind event, and every now and then we talk, which is great. And just appreciate the value you bring to the community, and everything that you said to everybody today. So in closing, is there anything that you want to say to everybody, or if people want to reach out to you about doing some triple net stuff, or if they got questions on cold calling or property, whatever, like give us a little outro here of how people can get in touch with you and what kind of value you bring to them?
Yeah. I mean, anybody can feel free to shoot. You can give me a call if you want. I'm nobody special yet. So, but yeah,
that's the key word, right? Yet.
Yeah, but yeah. I mean, I'd be more than happy. I mean, at least I can do. Everybody's always been so generous in sharing information. I mean, Tim sharing literally any question I have, answering it in full, and not just answering, not just saying like, "Oh yeah, do this." Like, here's my template. This is what I use. It's like, yeah, it's kind of that community where it's like if anybody has a question, feel free to DM me. I'll send you my number or whatever, and let's chat. I'd be more than happy to coach people on whatever I can, and try to really. My goal with everything is just to try to provide value.
Awesome.
To just anybody and everybody.
Yeah, awesome. Sweet. All right, man. Well, Tim, why don't you take us out?
Hey guys, glad to be back. Sorry I missed the last couple of weeks. Vitaly, thanks for covering for us, man. And guys, have a great week, and we'll see you next Tuesday.
Peace.